Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host John. Today we talk about Final Fantasy Advent Children. Like earlier this year we talked about Spirits Within, the wannabe Final Fantasy movie. Now we talk about the real Final Fantasy movie, you know?
Yeah, I don't know what Spirits of what was it called again? I was gonna say Spirits of Vengeance.
Spirits Within, I mean it's a fake.
Yeah. Yeah,
Fantasy.
it's like, Square Enix just like made a 3D movie and they were like, yeah, let's stick the Final Fantasy name on it. Why not?
Yeah. But here, there's more recognizable lands, plot, characters. Like, it's incredible. Like, I'll be honest, like, rewatching this, I was like, the animation doesn't hold up as much as it used to. It's a bit PS3, but I can live with that. What?
I don't know, man. It's kind of weird to say that, like, oh, it has PS3 graphics because what we would go back to is either PS1 or PS2 graphics. Because PS3 is like the generation where we were like, oh my god, I know a game could look like this. You know?
Yeah.
Like, shit's so realistic. Yes, I do get you. When we look back, it is kind of like horrible.
I mean, I wouldn't say horrible, but it's not as mind-blowing as I once thought it did.
I know, but like back in like I think it was 2008 when I watched this movie. I didn't watch it in theaters because it didn't come out here in theaters.
Yeah.
I bought a DVD, like a pirated DVD of it.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I was just like, I didn't know Final Fantasy could look like this. I was just blown away. And then you see Tifa, I was like, oh my god,
Right.
you look beautiful. Yeah, I was like, oh. And I don't know what was up with Japan, with like when they do models of house, like it always looks either gray, silver, or metallic.
Yeah.
They even do that with like Silent Hill,
Yeah.
and some other movies. They do it here as well, where I'm just like, it's gray. It's just gray.
Yeah.
Like, it's very monotone gray everywhere. There's not a single hint of color. That's why it's kind of like mind-blowing when you see like Final Fantasy Remake, where it's like full on just beautiful. You see Mako energy like flowing through. It looks so pretty.
Yeah.
Midgar actually looks pretty. Here Midgar's non-existent, but like, yeah.
I mean, it is funny to see the jump from PS3 to PS5 where you're like, yeah, that's the height of it in 05. It's for a movie that came out in 05, it's quite impressive that it looks like this.
Yeah, dude.
But like for today's standards, unfortunately, I'm like, yeah, I've seen Final Fantasy Remake and I forgot what you call the sequel, but yeah.
Rebirth.
Yeah. But yeah, you see all your favorite characters. Like this takes place 2 years after the events of Final Fantasy VII, the OG Final Fantasy VII. And you see like Cloud and Tifa for a bit, and you get introduced to the new threat Kadaj, who are like these triplets that kind of have like Sephiroth looking hair, and you're like, okay,
yeah,
sure.
Like they're kind of like the Horcruxes of Sephiroth. So like each one of them has a part of Sephiroth in them.
Yeah.
Including Cloud for some reason. I think that's what I'm getting from the plot. Is like, oh, he's part of us. That's our older brother.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
And you get a taste of how cool the action is. Like it's a bit jumpy from here to there, but like it's an impressive fight sequence, video game fight sequence, I would say. Like Tifa versus
it's cool.
The guy, I was like, that's impressive.
Yeah, like the brute guy who cries a lot. I'm like, yeah. And like I think around the time, like I was always like, oh, if a Final Fantasy character doesn't have a sword or a weapon, like what's the point?
Yeah.
And then you just see Tifa just throwing hands out, just like, that's fucking sick.
Yeah. Tifa going like ham with like the guy. I was like, I didn't know Tifa could do this, or at least I forgot Tifa could do this because all they have is weapons, and like the modern day games. I mean.
Yeah, and it is kind of cool because like I think around this time, Dissidia is like about to release.
Yeah.
Or has already released.
Yeah.
And I think this is the first time we ever see these characters full on, not in a cutscene, full on fighting each other when it's not turn-based strategy game.
Yeah, like it's not they obviously couldn't follow that formula. Otherwise, this movie you'd be like, what is happening? Why are you attacking all just one at a time? But like, I do think for like if you're coming into this not knowing anything about video games or even Final Fantasy, you'd be like, oh my god, this is slow. Yeah, and lost and slow.
It's slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It was like who's Shinra? You know.
Yeah.
What was the Shinra company? Why is the Earth trying to kill us again?
Yeah. What is this world stigma or globe stigma? The sickness. That geostigma.
Geostigma. There.
Yeah. Even Cloud has it, but it is nice seeing like some of the minor characters pop up first. Aside from Cloud and Tifa, you're like, oh, that's like someone like Vincent Valentine. Even though he had his own spin-off game, I think. I like him because he's my first PS2 game, his spin-off standalone game. So I was like, that's sick.
It was like somewhat the horror game-esque Final Fantasy game. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and he's voiced by Steve Bloom here, and I'm like, right.
Yeah.
I forgot if he was in the game. Steve Bloom voiced him in the games, but like it's nice seeing his voice. No,
for sure he didn't.
Yeah. Oh
well. I haven't played Rebirth yet, so I haven't seen Vincent Valentine yet.
Oh, is he in the new game?
Hmm?
You know what? I got remake for free. I could never get past the first boss. I was like, fuck it.
It's so easy. What the fuck?
No! If I ever get it again, and I do want to get it again after watching playthroughs and like this movie, of course.
Dude, it's so good. It's so good. And then it makes you go like, oh, is it Aerith or Tifa? We already know what happens to Aerith anyway.
Yeah. Like, it is kind of sad seeing Aerith communicate through Cloud, and he's just like, I just want redemption and forgiveness. And I'm like, it's not your fault, though. You're not the one who landed on poor Aerith with your sword.
With a sword?
Yeah.
But I do get where like Cloud's coming from, because clearly his past has pretty much just stayed with him.
Yeah.
The entire time. And the entire support team, which is his friends, is like right here.
Yeah.
Like even Tifa's like trying her best, like, hey, let's just start a family. We adopted this child.
Yeah.
Why don't we start something?
Yeah, like we can move on after the events, and he's just like, I can't. And you're like, yeah, that's fair enough.
Anyway, I'm trying to remember. By the way, no, Stephen Bloom did not voice the original
Vincent
Valentine because it was just text. There was no talking.
Oh, right. No, there was talking in this spin-off, I think. It's been years since I've seen it.
I'm not sure.
Okay. But like if you're a fan of the games, you do get rewarded by like the second act with that huge Leviathan fight and a motorcycle fight.
Leviathan? Behemoth?
Yeah, sorry, Behemoth fight.
Yeah.
With the entire party coming together, I was like, oh, it's fucking Barrett. I fucking love Barrett.
Yeah, you like Yuffie, you get Sid. And I'm like, oh, okay, we got the whole band back together, like Red 13.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it was really cool to finally see like the entire team come back together. I don't know why, like, Sid is the only person who hasn't changed. Like everybody else has like their whole entire getup changed. They have a new weapon, but Sid's just the same. I'm like, all right, I guess he has a new ship. I guess.
Whoever was controlling him just chose default skin, and they're like, yeah, and you're like,
they never upgraded him.
Yeah. They're like, shit, you can upgrade. Fuck, it's too late. But yeah, it is quite exciting to see like the gang back together and like the action picks it up because I feel like this is the movie's way of being like, here's your reward for sticking it out to the old time gamers or like people who played the games. They're like, here you go, here's what you remember from the games, and you're like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, like seeing Cloud just go up against the entire thing, being helped with his friends.
Yeah.
By the way, the motorcycle fight scenes, I love it.
Yeah, same man.
When you get to like the motorcycle scene in the remake, it's really good.
Okay.
It's really fun to do. It is a bit annoying if you get like some shit wrong, but it's very fun.
Yeah.
But seeing it here, and dude, you know how crazy it was seeing like 9-year-old me seeing the fucking sides of the motorcycle open up to just show him the array of swords that he has stored. I was just like,
going back for a bit, speaking of people with unnecessarily big swords. I forgot there were flashbacks of Crisis Core with Zack. I was like, oh right, shit, I forgot about this, and like all the events of Crisis Core.
Yeah, that was so cool to see because I did play Crisis Core before watching this movie. Even though I think the Crisis Core game came out after this movie came out.
Okay. Yeah,
but it was such a good game. It was so good, and playing as Zack and being like, oh my god, Cloud wasn't the OG Buster Sword guy.
Yeah.
Well, Zack wasn't the OG Buster Sword guy. It was his mentor who had it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just cool to see that.
Yeah. The last fight scene is pretty sweet, not gonna lie, when the guy transforms into Sephiroth, and I'm like, oh, it's about to go down.
Dude, it was so fucking sick, because like, just out of nowhere, he just transforms into Sephiroth, and you hear the theme.
Yeah.
Dude, I rewatched it, like, maybe yesterday. Shivers down my spine still. I was like, oh, fuck.
Right.
And God, it's just an iconic bad guy, theme.
Yeah.
That it's unmistakable. Like, yep. All I know is I'm gonna be fighting a white-haired blonde. A white-haired sexy man with a 8-foot samurai sword.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a pretty sick battle. Not gonna lie. I'm just like, this is why this movie is so great, in my opinion. Like everything leading up to this act is all worth it. Even though at the beginning I was like, man, this thing is slow. I forgot how quiet and slow it is at the beginning, but like it does pay off at the end with that sick fight with Sephiroth. And like I do like the trend of having the Superman actors being the English voice. Like the voice for this one is the guy who is Superman in Justice League, the animated series. And like new Sephiroth is Tyler Hoechlin from Superman and Lois, the CW Superman. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That guy?
Yeah. He is shocked.
Hold the fuck on. Yeah, go on, just go on.
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree with you hearing the theme, and you're just like, my childhood relived.
I love it, because like, when you see the fight scenes, it does feel like Dissidia, if you've played Dissidia. And they're just jumping around, cutting buildings in half. You see Sephiroth just like, swing once and just like, I don't know, just make 1,000 slashes. That's his like signature.
Yeah.
A cockroach went up my slipper, sorry.
Oh. That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm trying not to freak out for the camera, but like...
Is it a small cockroach at least?
I hope so.
Dear God.
I don't know. Wait, hold on. Hold on, it says my slipper.
Well,
alright, anyway.
This can be for the TikToks. But yeah, it's a really satisfying end to this movie, and I do like how this movie ends, and you're just like, I guess we'll just wait for the next Final Fantasy game or movie.
Well, I mean, yeah, so this pretty much like ends with a bow. Cloud defeats Sephiroth.
Yeah.
They have this amazing fight. Cloud does this like finisher, I forgot what you call it. I don't know if it was called the Omni Slash or something. I forget. And yeah, Sephiroth just gives up that like amazing line. It was like, I'm not just a memory or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, fuck yeah, he's gonna come back. I'm not sure. And yeah, they find a cure for geostigma, and Cloud has a family. And I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he finally gets closure with like Aerith and Zack finally walking out of the door.
Yeah.
And just kind of like telling Cloud like, hey, like move on. Like,
yeah.
Dilly dally, shilly shally kind of deal. Like just move on.
Exactly. And like wasn't there another Final Fantasy movie? But that was for like 15, right?
Yes. Yeah. King's Glaive. It's a pretty good one, I say. It's voiced with Aaron. What's the name again? Aaron Paul.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the main character is voiced by Aaron.
All right. What do you? Anything else to add to this movie?
Not really, but like, it is a nice bow to Final Fantasy VII. It is a bit slow. It is a bit weird. is this the best thing to get into when you want to get into Final Fantasy? No. But, like, sure, I got into pretty much Final Fantasy because of the movies, but I feel like you should play the game first, then watch this. Because you'll be so lost. You won't have any connection to any of the characters. I didn't know it was Barrett that like called Cloud at the beginning of this movie when he was on his way to Rufus Shinra.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, who the hell is that guy? Why is he so loud?
Alright. Maybe that's the only indication. You're like, well, he's loud, he must be Barrett. Sure.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah. I don't know. I just suggest play the game, then watch this movie.
Yeah. It's funny that they tried to do an all CGI movie with the other Final Fantasy movie with Steve Buscemi and that obviously failed. And like after seeing this movie, you're like, why couldn't you just seeing this movie, you're like, why couldn't you just stick to this? I don't understand. Why couldn't you just make, a Final Fantasy movie and then be like, here's all the other characters you like, Cloud, Aerith, Tifa, Barrett, instead of being like, we got Mulan and Alec Baldwin and we'll call it Final Fantasy, please like us.
Yeah, I don't know why they couldn't just do that. Like, there's so many Final Fantasies out there that I think I would have loved to have seen as a movie.
Yeah.
Like Final Fantasy VI is amazing.
Is that
Final
the
Fantasy
one with
Kefka, yep.
Alright.
But just imagine or getting a remake of that. That'll be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That Final Fantasy X, just for the vibes. The story was kind of okay, but it's just it's just really pretty because it's mostly set in the beach. So I was like, yeah.
Oh, is that the one with the funny laugh? That ha 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 ha. You're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, where they're like laughing at the beach. You're like, ha ha ha. I'm like, oh no.
But yeah, what would you rate Final Fantasy Advent Children?
No, like funny enough, I'll be rating it a 7 out of 10. It is. Is it the best movie, like the best Final Fantasy movie out there? No, I would say Kingsglaive is a little like above that.
Okay.
Voice acting wise, I would say Advent Children has a better voice acting compared to Kingsglaive, but Kingsglaive is there because it's a story before Final Fantasy 15.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So before the gang just goes on a road trip, you get this story, and you get a little bit of like the politics that's happening. But here you have to play the game. Here in Advent Children, you have to play the game to know what's going on. I haven't finished. I've finished the original game, but I played it like 10 years ago, so I don't really remember much.
Yeah.
And I was like, what happened here again? Why is he in a wheelchair? I fucking don't know. But anyway. Yeah. Again, 7 out of 10. It's still a good movie. If you finish the game, go watch this because it does tie up like the entire story with a nice bow. You see Cloud finally like going with Tifa and like, hey, he has a son.
Yeah.
An adopted son. I was like, alright. And yeah, again, it's just a nice bow.
I will also join you in the 7 club. Yeah, it's not the in terms of storytelling, it's not the greatest, but like it's still cool to see what you see here, especially the last fights where I'm like, my patience has paid off. Like the cast is pretty cool, story is pretty great. Graphics wise, you're like, you know what? Can't wait until 05. I'll give it a break. It's fine.
Yeah. Did you feel a little pukey when you were watching the fight scenes? I was like, man, my eyes can't keep up. I'm like,
with Tifa and the guy, I was like, oh, this is too fucking
for me it was the motorcycle scenes.
Oh. Yeah, the Tifa fight, I was like, this is too boring. The first Born movie with Matt Damon, I'm like, it's too shaky, man. Can't keep up. Question for you is, what PS2 game would you like to see have an adaptation? Either movie or show. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember as much as I can of like the PS2 games that I played.
I have an answer. It could be a series. It could be the Shadow of the Colossus. and each episode is a
yeah.
Colossus.
Fuck yeah! It's just 16 episodes. And it's just him on a journey.
Yeah.
It could just be like 20 minutes each episode.
Yeah.
Not a lot of talking.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like it's just so straightforward. It can just be 20 minutes each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. That's a hard one to like, kind of, one up. I guess. Dino Crisis. I would like no. You know, I would have to add like onto that. It's just I would either like a remake, a TV show, or a movie.
Of Dino Crisis.
Hopefully, in 3D, not live action, of Dino Crisis because, oh god, like all the love's going to RE.
Yeah.
Dino Crisis was such a good game, in of itself.
I'm just trying to imagine what did you call the sequel to Shadow? The Last Guardian.
Ico?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ico's the prequel, or like the first game.
Right.
Shadow's the whole game that took like 1,000 years to finally be put out, and you're like cool, and you see bloopers of the kid falling while the dog is just like, I can catch anything. Oh wow.
Yeah, so I feel like nobody played that game.
Yeah, I think it's a bomb. Like unfortunately, I think Final Fantasy Rebirth is a bomb for Square Enix.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they considered it a bomb.
Well, I'm buying the game just to make sure that like I support them.
I mean, it's up for Game of the Year award, so hopefully that helps it.
I feel like that shouldn't count because it's a remake.
Yeah, but like I forgot they have the DLC for Elden Ring in there as well. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
I don't think that should count either.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's a remake and a DLC. Sure, you can argue like the DLC is like a separate game, but it's like it's still part of the game, you know.
I guess, but in my opinion, Wukong should win.
I think Wukong is nominated, and
yeah, I feel like it should win, but I don't think Final Fantasy or Elden Ring should have a place in Game of the Year. I mean, if they have like DLC of the year, sure, go nuts. If they had the remake of the year, go nuts.
Yeah,
that would have been great.
I'm surprised,
but
Space Marine 2 isn't there. You know?
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's a weird year for games apparently. So
we should get Space Marine 2. We should play. It's a co-op game.
Oh, all right. Fuck.
Yeah.
One of these days we should do a whole gaming thing. But until then, to the audience watching, what's your answer for the PS2 adaptations? Whether it be, the early Metal Gears would be nice, especially Snake Eater.
They're already doing it.
Right. But yeah, whatever it is, please comment down below. If you like what you see here, please leave a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on TikTok and Spotify. Spotify to hear us on the go, and TikTok to see our best and funniest moments. In the video, I'm Zoda's Voices on TikTok and Ends Wolf on Letterboxd. Where can they find you?
Oh, you can find me at JomJoM_ on Instagram. It is my account.
And until the next one, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.